All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive
Yeah.
into a topic that I think is pretty fundamental to any society, and that is the challenges faced by university students. Our source for this deep dive is a letter addressed to the president from a student named Lucia. It's really a powerful read, and we're going to kind of unpack it together,
Yeah.
almost as if you were right there with us in a strategy meeting, brainstorming solutions.
Yeah, it's always so fascinating to hear these firsthand accounts. They give us such a raw and unfiltered perspective on what students are going through these days.
And Lucia doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
Her main point is that university students, they feel overlooked. They're struggling to balance, their studies with the very real need to earn a living. And, just as an aside, she's a medical student, so those demands alone are huge.
Oh, absolutely. Medical school is incredibly rigorous. It requires, intense focus and dedication, not to mention the financial burden of, tuition and living expenses on top of it all.
Exactly. But Lucia's letter goes, beyond just the financial aspect. She's had to juggle multiple jobs, facing, disrespectful treatment, low wages, and grueling hours. She even talks about how this constant pressure took a toll on her health and made it even harder to focus on her studies.
It's interesting because, her experience really highlights a broader issue. We often talk about the financial burden of education, right? But the psychological and physical costs are just as significant. Trying to make ends meet while pursuing a demanding degree can be incredibly stressful. And that stress can have a ripple effect on a student's academic performance, their mental health, and even their future career prospects.
Yeah, it's like trying to run a marathon with weights strapped to your ankles. You're not going to perform at your best.
Right. And in Lucia's case, she's studying to be a doctor, someone who will be responsible for the health and well-being of others. So if she's struggling to take care of her own well-being, it raises some important questions about how we support future generations of these essential workers.
And this leads us to a key point. Lucia isn't just complaining. She's coming to the table with solutions. She proposes a system of part-time employment that's specifically designed for university students. Imagine like a 4-hour daily internship within companies, lasting anywhere from 3 months to a couple years.
Now, this is where things get interesting. This isn't just about, increasing financial aid. It's about integrating practical experience with academic learning. And importantly, this type of program has the potential to create benefits for both students and companies.
Yeah, she calls it a win-win. On the one hand, students get greater financial stability, relevant work experience, and a smoother transition into the workforce after graduation. On the other hand, companies get access to fresh talent, potential future employees, and the chance to shape their skills according to their specific needs.
It's like a built-in talent pipeline, fostering relationships with future professionals while they're still in their developmental stages. Companies could invest in students early on, helping them to acquire valuable skills and experience that align with the needs of the industry. It's a much more proactive and strategic approach than simply waiting for students to graduate and then trying to fit them into existing roles.
And Lucia really emphasizes that university students, despite their lack of formal work experience, have a lot to offer. They're eager to learn, adapt quickly, and bring fresh perspectives to the table.
Which are incredibly valuable traits in today's rapidly evolving job market. It's not just about what you know, it's about how quickly you can learn and apply new knowledge.
Exactly. And if Lucia had had access to a program like this, maybe she could have avoided some of those hardships she described. Imagine if she could have focused more effectively on her medical studies, without the added stress of those grueling jobs.
Yeah, it raises a crucial point. Could this type of program be a way to break the cycle of financial stress and hardship that many students face? Could it allow them to prioritize their education and reach their full potential without that constant pressure to make ends meet?
It makes you wonder, what if we viewed students like Lucia not just as recipients of aid, but as valuable assets to invest in?
It's a provocative thought. What kind of ripple effects could that create for the economy and society as a whole? But before we get into that, let's delve a bit deeper into the structure of the program Lucia proposes and see if it holds up to scrutiny. So Lucia lays out a pretty comprehensive plan in her letter. She suggests that these internships be structured around a 4-hour workday, allowing students to, balance their academic commitments with practical experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. It wouldn't be very helpful if the program itself, added to their already overwhelming workload.
Exactly. And she proposes a range of durations, from, short 3-month stints to longer commitments of up to 2 years. This flexibility could allow students to explore different fields, gain, diverse experiences, and potentially even transition into full-time roles after graduation.
So it's not like a one-size-fits-all approach. It acknowledges that students have different needs and goals.
Right. And Lucia is mindful of potential challenges. She suggests that things like retirement contributions and vacation time could be optional to ensure the program is manageable for both students and employers. This kind of forward thinking is crucial because for this program to succeed, it needs to be sustainable and beneficial for everyone involved.
But wouldn't this kind of program require a huge shift in how companies think about recruitment and workforce development?
It would definitely challenge the status quo. But think about it this way. Many companies already have internship programs in place. This is about evolving those programs, making them more accessible, structured, and integrated with the academic world.
So instead of just providing a summer internship for a select few, companies could create a pipeline of talent that's constantly being nurtured and developed.
Precisely. It's about creating a symbiotic relationship where companies invest in students, and students, in turn, contribute to the company's success. But of course, there are potential downsides to consider as well.
Like what?
Well, there's the risk of exploitation. We need to ensure that these internships aren't just a way for companies to get cheap labor, under the guise of work experience. We need clear guidelines, ethical considerations, and safeguards in place to protect the rights and well-being of the students.
So it can't just be about filling empty seats. There needs to be a genuine commitment to mentorship, skill development, and fair compensation.
Absolutely. And we also need to be mindful of the potential impact on students' academic performance. If they're working too many hours or feeling pressure to prioritize work over their studies, it could defeat the purpose of the program.
So it's about striking a balance, ensuring that work complements, not overwhelms, their academic pursuits. And that's where the structure and oversight of the program become crucial.
Exactly. It's about ensuring that students are getting valuable experience that aligns with their academic goals, not just doing busy work that detracts from their studies.
Lucia also raises an important point about the emotional impact of these struggles. She talks about feeling overlooked, not just financially, but as a valuable member of society.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that young people are not just future contributors. They have something to offer right now. They're eager to participate, to make a difference, to feel like their voices are being heard.
And that's where this program could have a profound impact, not just on students' wallets, but on their sense of self-worth and belonging.
It's about saying, we value your potential. We see you as an asset, not a burden.
And that kind of affirmation can be incredibly empowering, especially for students who are facing financial hardship and feeling disillusioned with the system.
It can ignite a sense of hope, a belief that their contributions matter, and that their dreams are within reach.
But what about the practicalities? How do we ensure that a program like this is accessible to all students, not just those in certain fields or at elite institutions?
That's a crucial question, and it's something that needs to be carefully considered in the design and implementation of the program. We need to make sure it reaches students from diverse backgrounds, disciplines, and geographic locations.
So it's not just about creating the program, it's about ensuring equity and accessibility.
Right. And it's about engaging with businesses of all sizes, from small startups to large corporations, to create a network of opportunities that cater to a wide range of interests and skill sets.
It sounds like a massive undertaking, but the potential rewards are huge.
It would be a significant shift. But if we could pull it off, imagine the impact.
A generation of students graduating not just with degrees, but with years of relevant work experience.
A workforce that's more engaged, skilled, and innovative.
A society where young people feel valued and empowered to contribute their talents.
It's a bold vision, but sometimes bold visions are what we need to create real and lasting change.
And who knows, maybe Lucia's letter is just the spark we need to ignite that change.
Yeah.
As we've been talking about Lucia's proposal and its potential implications, one thing that keeps coming back to me is this idea of a paradigm shift. What if this wasn't just about creating a new program, but about fundamentally changing how we view the relationship between education and the workforce?
That's a really important point. We often treat these as separate spheres, but what if we started seeing them as interconnected, like two sides of the same coin?
Right. What if instead of viewing students as these empty vessels,
Yeah.
just waiting to be filled with knowledge and then released into the workforce, we saw them as active participants in a continuous cycle of learning and contributing?
Imagine a world where education isn't just about acquiring theoretical knowledge, but about applying that knowledge in real-world settings, gaining hands-on experience, and, developing those essential skills alongside their academic pursuits.
It's like learning to swim. You can read all the books about swimming techniques, But you won't truly learn until you jump in the water.
Exactly. And that's where Lucia's proposal comes in. It's about providing that jumping in the water experience, giving students the opportunity to test their knowledge, make mistakes, and learn from those mistakes in a supportive environment.
And by connecting students with companies early on, we're not just helping them gain experience, we're also helping them to develop a professional network, build relationships with mentors, and start envisioning their future career paths.
Think about the impact this could have on students' motivation and engagement. When they see a clear connection between their studies and their future aspirations, they're much more likely to be invested in their education.
It's like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? It gives them
Yeah.
a sense of purpose and direction.
And it also allows them to make more informed decisions about their academic path. They can explore different fields, discover their passions, and tailor their education to their specific goals.
So it's not just about getting a job, it's about finding a career that's fulfilling and meaningful.
And when people are passionate about their work, when they feel like they're contributing something valuable, it benefits everyone.
Yeah, it leads to greater innovation, higher levels of productivity, and a more, vibrant and dynamic economy.
And let's not forget about the social impact. When young people feel seen, heard, and valued for their contributions, it creates a ripple effect throughout society.
It fosters a sense of belonging, of purpose, of collective
And
responsibility.
it empowers young people to become, active and engaged citizens, contributing their talents to their communities and shaping the future they want to see.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the challenge for all of us is to move beyond the traditional model of education as a one-way street where knowledge is simply transmitted from teacher to student.
Instead, let's embrace a more dynamic, collaborative, and experiential approach to learning, one that empowers students to become active agents in their own development and prepares them to thrive in a rapidly changing world.
Lucia's letter has given us a lot to think about. Her personal story highlights the struggles that many students face, but it also offers a powerful vision for a better future, one where education and opportunity go hand in hand.
And while implementing her proposed program would definitely require significant effort and collaboration, the potential rewards are enormous. It's a challenge worth taking on, a vision worth striving for.
So let's leave you with this. What role can you play in bridging the gap between education and opportunity? How can you support and empower the next generation of thinkers, doers, and change makers?